Superman, the highly anticipated movie from DC Studios, directed by James Gunn. There was some early screenings that there's some reports that they didn't test well, and there's other reports that maybe they did. Well, the new report is that it's testing very well because James Gunn did the notes, and those potential reshoots tapped up some of those issues. So we'll get to that. The Oscars are the most unpredictable Oscars to date. Nobody knows who's going to win. There's even a report that people don't know who they're voting for, what's happening. Nobody knows who's going to win. Gene Hackman is one of the greatest actors of all time. Sadly, both he and his wife passed away. They're found today, and we will talk about the great Gene Hackman. There's other things we're going to discuss. There's still all this conversation about Kathleen Kennedy, and Steph and I haven't talked about it. And I'm glad that I just have Steph here because Mike's a traitor. There's nothing to say except a traitor. He and Steph broke the record last week, destroyed last week. And what does he do? He runs away and joins Roxy because he feels that Roxy was due for a win, so he wants to join. And now they've set a pretty good standard, but it's Steph, so you never can count her out. That being said, let's get to the show. It's Kristian and Stpeh Show, myself and Stpeh. Here we go. Welcome back to the Kristian and Stpeh Show here today on Thursday. Right? Today's Thursday. I think it is. That's true. Yeah, it's Thursday. Joining me on the show today, the one and only Stpeh. Hello, Steph.
Hello. Yeah, I saw Mike and Mike with Roxy, and I was like, "What happened? What happened?"
I know. You guys did this wonderful thing last week. You shattered the records, and then he jumped back and said, I'm going to try my luck with Roxy here to get 2 in a row. Because Mike, I don't think he's ever done 2 in a row. But right now, well, you have a road to you have a hill to climb.
Okay.
They hit 250 stuff.
Oh,
yeah, it's a hill.
That's really good.
It's a hill. That's a hill to climb. So
okay.
Clark Wolf, even the great Clark Wolf yesterday came in and she did very well, but it's hard. That Wednesday spot is hard to do. Nonetheless, we have a lot to talk about. There's a lot of big stories out there today. You'll be proud of me because I told you. So do you know? I think I told you. Do you know why I moved the show in the first place?
I think to for your health, right?
Yes.
Like, focus.
Yeah. So I don't know if everybody knows this anyway, but one of the reasons my friend Chris, who's been training for, I don't know, he's got to be 25 plus years. He's a brick shithouse, but he's not like huge. He's like cut, and he's really healthy. And I was like, I need to really take care of this for myself. So I've been going to the gym now 4 days a week, Steph. 4 days a week.
Whoa, that's really good.
Yeah, so 4 days a week is what I'm going to be doing, and then the other thing that I want to try to do for Chris is once I can actually show the audience like results, I'm gonna get Chris on here, and he hasn't started yet, but he might start to do personal training. I think he should because he's amazing.
Did you do before shots? Photos?
I did too. Well,
oh my gosh, it's gonna be so cool.
Yeah, this is the first week, that I did it. So I went Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Just got back today. Tomorrow's the day off, and then I've been taking a picture every day. So we'll it'll be
so exciting.
So yeah, it'll be I'm trying to change the diet, did the whole thing. So we'll see.
That's great.
But I will never look like David Cornsweat. That I know. Superman. There's the buzz going around here, Steph, about the latest screenings. Let's talk about it. All right. The test screenings buzz for Superman. It wasn't the best. It wasn't positive late last year, but a new report suggests that James Gunn has addressed some of this stuff, the internal issues that they had with the DCU movie. Last December, it was reported that the internal test screenings of Superman had taken place at Warner Brothers Discovery DC Studios. At the time, we heard that the buzz is not good and that there were concerns about how the reboot was taking shape. That's supposedly why reshoots took place at the end of 2024, though James Gunn has said those are pickup shots consisting of no scenes, no reshoots. Superman's tone has also been compared to Captain America, the First Avenger, and The Mummy. Now we have an update from Jeff Schneider. Apparently, the most recent cut of Superman received great feedback and performed far better than those initial early screenings. The whole reason those take place is to figure out what isn't working early on, and with Gunn clearly taking the negative feedback on board, it appears that the first DCU movie has benefited greatly. That bodes well for what we'll see in the summer. The filmmaker and studio executives have already made tweaks to the movie, changing the title from Superman Legacy to just Superman. He said, I thought maybe the title had a looking back feeling about it, he explained, and this isn't about looking back, it's about looking forward. So although when you see the movie, you'll understand where Legacy comes from, it is about Clark and his relationship to his Kryptonian parents and his relationship to his human parents and whose legacy is he really. And so it is about that, but I think as a title, it felt too looking back. Plenty of hit movies have had an early negative buzz following test screenings. Remember, the reason those happen is to figure out the issues and fix them before we sit down in theaters. In the end, some movies like that are hits, Barbie, for example, and other movies are akin to Captain America, Brave New World. Stay tuned for new updates on Superman as we have them. Okay, that's good enough. So I think they said it here. I think that they said it, and what they said indeed was that the screenings are necessary because they go, okay, this is what the audience is saying, and this is what most people, the majority of people are saying, and maybe we need to fix this up. So this is good news, I think, if you're a Superman fan or a DC fan, because they're like, okay, it's time to actually make these plays to get this thing better. So what do you make of these reports, Steph?
I think it's great. I mean, obviously, I think that there's something to be said about Barbie, but then there's also something to be said about Captain America, Brave New World, which I liked, but I do think that, the reshoots tried to help it, but sometimes it's speaking more so to a greater issue. But I really trust James Gunn, and I feel like he's always been vocal about test screenings and taking in the opinions of others. And I feel like he has a very good balance of trusting himself, but also when you're like, for example, Roxy and I are writing a script right now. We finished the first draft and we're like, this is solid. And then we read it through together and we're like, oh my God, this there's like three scenes that make no sense in the way that we thought it did. So you need to have other people look at to look at it, and we don't know what the issue could have been. It could have been something as simple as like an edit or an action scene that they kind of reshot so it looked cooler. It doesn't necessarily mean like the integrity of the story, like in Captain America, had been kind of changed, we thought, because major characters were being taken out, or characters. So I think this is great. I feel like this is going to be really solid, if not awesome.
Well, it's also because, I think the other day, Roke and I were talking about how it's surprising that Jeff Snyder wasn't at one of these events, and then people are tweeting at me and going, why would he be there? He hates James Gunn and he hates this and with Jeff. So I was like, it's interesting that Snyder is the one to say, no, it's in really good shape. And, it's a positive report from Snyder on DC, which I think you should definitely be excited about if you're a DC fan, because Snyder's reports have been a little bit more negative, but I think not because he's got hate for it. It's just what he's hearing. He's reporting on it. So if he's hearing this, I agree that it's a good thing. And I think you nailed it. It's little things that could just set the tone. It could be one scene. It could be one thing that, you know what? We removed this and put that in there, and now it flows so much better. Mm-hmm. Like there's a few scenes. There's a couple of my movies that I've seen before. I used an example the other day, Endgame, right? I had never even seen this scene before, but there's a scene. Do you know it pretty well, the movie?
Yeah.
All right. So when Black Widow and Hawkeye are trying to get the Infinity Stone,
right?
In the deleted scene, Thanos and his group show up and they start firing at him and and they're fighting, and it's like, it's a cool action scene, but it really takes away from what the scene is supposed to be about, the sacrifice between the two of them, and they took it out and they looked at it and they said, this isn't what we need to make this work. The other thing that maybe could have helped, and sometimes it doesn't always work. I actually really like the scene in Endgame where that after Tony goes, they kneel instead of like just that funeral scene. All the Avengers that are there like kneel in respect, And I think it was a pretty heartwarming moment. But look, there are times that there's moves that maybe they could have left in, but there's other times that they take certain things and they move things around or they reshoot things and say, oh, you know what, we need a scene or we need to line it. Oh, perfect. Again, use Endgame again. Originally, the I Am Iron Man wasn't that they didn't shoot that. That was done during reshoots.
Wow.
Because they thought about it afterwards and they asked him, and I think he was hesitant at first to do it, but then he did it. But that wasn't the original thing. They so there's little things like that. And Endgame turned out pretty good.
Yeah.
So
That's fascinating. Yeah, the Black Widow Hawkeye scene was so impactful. I remember it perfectly because it was so emotional that these two were besties for so long, and I think it would have taken away from that moment because you really felt that. Like it was just them two. It was very, very intimate.
Right.
So I agree completely. Like we have no idea, and it seems like it's something little that made a big impact. And that's cool. And that's what those screenings are for. I know some people don't really agree with them, but as a creator, I don't know how you could not do them.
Yeah, I don't know either, and I'm curious how this is going to play overall, man, because this is a huge movie. It's a big movie, and it's exciting that there's some positive buzz behind
Right.
it.
I do like that they've changed. I thought his thought process for the title was cool too, because
Yeah.
even though the last installment of Superman wasn't that long ago, it is like this is a fresh new slate. It's a new generation for Superman, and I think it's a good choice to just keep it as Superman.
Yeah, and you're basically you're starting over, but like he said, he's like, you'll understand why it's legacy when you see it. But
Yeah.
I didn't want the title to feel like we're looking back, and I think that's a smart
Right.
move. All right. Well, I ask you guys out there, what do you think about this? Do you think this is the right move? Do you think this is the wrong move? That hey, we didn't need to do these reshoots. Just go how you're doing. Put it out. Don't worry about what test screenings say. Or do you think like, no, this is good news in general for DC? Put your thoughts in there. Let me know. Sad news here, Steph. Today, we learned that the legendary actor Gene Hackman has passed away. Legendary actor Gene Hackman has died. Hackman, his wife Betsy Araqua, and their dog were all found dead in their home in the state of New Mexico. Hackman was 95. Santa Fe County Sheriff Hayden Mendoza confirmed the passing just after midnight Thursday local time. He said there was no immediate action of foul play, but a cause of death hasn't been provided. An investigation is ongoing. The sheriff said, all I can say is that we're in the middle of a preliminary death investigation waiting on approval of a search warrant. Hackman is a Hollywood icon. The famed former Marine turned character actor appeared in over 80 films and won 2 Oscars for his role as Detective Jimmy Popeye Doyle in The French Connection and Sheriff Little Bill Daggett in Clint Eastwood's famed Western Unforgiven in 1992. His career stretched from the 1960s through the early 2000s and included countless memorable roles from Superman and The Conversation, Hoosiers, Birdcage. You're missing one. You're missing one. Where is it? Okay, the Royal Tenenbaums. Anyway, Hackman was married and had 3 children. He and Araqua, a pianist, were together for over 33 years. Let's start with the elephant in the room first, because then I want to get into the legacy of Gene Hackman. It's a little bizarre, you know.
Very bizarre.
Yeah, 95 years old. You hear 95 and you go, okay, 95, long life. His wife was in her early 60s. What the hell happened to the dog?
Right.
So, they said no foul play, but that's and who the hell am I to say that it isn't? But what the hell happened there? Like all 3 of them. Like it was okay. Gene Hackman, 95 years old, passed away in natural causes. Everybody goes, oh, but it's there's going to be more to this.
Has to be. They said that there was no carbon monoxide, or they said they were looking into that.
They're looking into it in general.
Okay, yeah.
You got to assume something like that, right?
Something like that. And, I'm not speculating on how it happened, but it feels like something happened, for 3 different individuals to pass on the same day. Has to be a something, that doesn't just happen. I mean, who knows? Anything's possible, but it feels like something is up. It's really odd.
You know, the audience right now is saying that so there's some recent reports that the police are now calling the situation suspicious. So I mean, it is. I mean, and then
yeah, it is.
Yeah, somebody also said that I guess one of the dogs, it wasn't the only dog. So there were other dogs. The other dogs lived. So something was. And they said that there's pills that were found. I don't know. We're going to find out more about that. But let's try to get away from that now. And just the legacy of Gene Hackman. He was one of the greats. I mean, he was just so amazing. Good. So many different movies. And I was just talking about him actually when I was at the gym with my friend, and we were talking about him. And I mean, my favorite role of his is Royal Tenenbaums.
It's so good.
That was one yesterday. Somebody asked me what's the biggest snub. That one. He wasn't even nominated for that, which was crazy.
Crazy. I mean, that is one of the funniest characters ever.
Ever. Is that when he's at the grave and he's just like, sorry, your mother was a terribly attractive woman. Yeah. So good. So good.
So good.
I want to watch that movie again. It's just, that movie is hilarious. Anyway, he is just so good in everything that he did. And I remember him first and foremost growing up as Lex Luthor, obviously, from what he did in that role and how because Christopher Reeve was an unknown and it was Marlon Brando who they billed first, but then Gene Hackman was pretty damn recognized when he joined on. So those were like the two big stars you saw in those titles. When you see it, it's Marlon Brando than Gene Hackman. I mean, The Firm is another one I think of for sure, Unforgiven, but he was just absolutely like pinnacle of what an amazing actor was. So what do you think of when you think of Gene Hackman?
Yeah, I think the most recent that comes to mind is Royal Tenenbaums. It's probably, I have a soft spot for Austin Powers, but it's probably like the best made comedy in my opinion. It is just laugh out loud funny, but also is such a great story. It's not spoofy. It's just actual comedy, real life comedy. But I love The French Connection. Oh, yeah. I remember, my parents watched that. We like investigative thriller movies. So I remember watching that when I was younger, but I definitely think of the Royal Tenenbaums probably first. But yes, he's one of those actors that has more range than most. Like another Gene, like Gene Wilder. Gene Hackman and Gene Wilder to me like go hand in hand, where it's like, what can't you do? I would watch anything you guys do. It's crazy the amount of characters he has, and every character he's done is so different from the next. So yeah, and 95 years old, that's a great life.
Yeah, for sure. And he retired when he knew it was time for him to step down. And it's super sad, obviously, because when you lose a legend. But I hope we get
Shorty. Just looking, there's Shorty. Get Shorty was so fun.
Yeah, so many. He was absolutely. He was just incredible. So, all right. Anyway, we'll try to move on from this topic, but put your memories for Gene Hackman in the super chat. Sorry, in the chats, in the comments. Put your comments in there and let us know what your favorite moments are. We want to hear from you for sure. Okay, we're gonna move on. We're gonna take a break real quick. And when we come back, we'll talk about some other stuff going on. Steph and I really haven't talked about the Kathleen Kennedy stuff yet, so we'll get into that. But let me tell you about both Robinhood and Mando. Robinhood Gold. With Robinhood Gold, you can now enjoy the VIP treatment, receiving a 3% IRA match on retirement contributions. The privileges of the very privileged are no longer exclusive. With Robinhood Gold, your annual IRA contributions are boosted by 3%. Plus, you also get 4% APY on your cash in non-retirement accounts. That's over 8 times the national savings average. The perks of the high net worth are now available for any net worth. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. To receive your 3% boost on annual IRA contributions, sign up at Robinhood.com/gold. Investing involves risk. Rate subject to change. 3% match requires Robinhood Gold at $5 a month for 1 year from first match. Must keep funds in IRA for 5 years. Go to Robinhood.com/boost. Over 8 times the national average savings account. Interest rate claim is based on data from the FDIC as of November 18th, 2024. Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold LLC. I was having a conversation with a buddy of mine, went on a first date the other day, and I said, hey, I understand you got to get all ready, you got to get all spruced up, and I'm telling you what you really need to do, whether you're getting a new haircut, whether you're cleaning your car, you just the nerves start kicking in. Well, one of the things you want to make sure you have taken care of, you don't want to smell like an animal, and that's why you have to use Mando. It's the best. For me, Mando, look, I've been married for over 15 years, and I still making sure that my wife is pleased. When she goes, what's that? She can tell it's Mando. Yeah, I'm confident. I like the spray, and it's not just for your pits. It's for everything. It could be for your thigh folds, your belly buttons, your butt crack, even your feet. It was created by a doctor who saw firsthand how normal BO was being misdiagnosed and mistreated. It's clinically proven to block odor all day and control odor for up to 72 hours. It's the best. All products are baking soda free, paraben free. They are amazing. You can choose from a fresh scent, whether it's bourbon leather, clover woods, Mount Fuji, or Pro Sport. I like the Pro Sport one too. I know that Winston's a big fan of the bourbon leather. So if you want to try America's #1 whole body deodorant formula right now, you can find them at Walmart, Target, other retailers across the country. For the best deals, you got to go to shopmando.com. Mando's starter pack, it's perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant. It's got a cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice like mini body wash, deodorant wipes, and free shipping. Everyone loves free shipping. As a special offer for our listeners, new customers will get $5 off a starter pack with our exclusive code. That equates to over 40% off your starter pack, but you got to use that code Kristian at shopmando.com, shopmando.com. Please support our show, and you got to tell them that we sent you. When you sign up, tell them that we sent you. Smell fresher, stay drier, boost your confidence from head to toe with Mando. Hey, Mando. Thank you to Mando. Thank you to Robinhood. Please make sure that you go into the link in our descriptions. You help out the show tremendously. When you get one of these things and you help yourself out, you get something great. All right. Steph, we haven't talked about this Kathleen Kennedy stuff, man.
I know.
It's been pretty crazy. We've been talking about the Kathleen Kennedy stuff for about 3 years, but there's a report, first of all, that she's going to retire at the end of 2025. Then there's a report that says, not so fast. She doesn't look like she's going anywhere yet. And then they're saying, well, if she does go, this is who they're looking to replace it. So before we get into the chaos of what's going on, when your initial thoughts, when you heard this the other day that, okay, she's stepping out at the end of 2025, what'd you think?
I thought good for her. I really think that she is a very talented woman and she should go where she's appreciated. And I feel like she had a long term with Lucasfilm, and no one's meant to stay somewhere forever. So I just felt like it was good timing and it made sense on all logical levels. And Lucasfilm so desperately needs a breath of fresh air. So and it's not like personal or to take away from her legacy, but it wasn't fitting anymore as a viewer, in my opinion, and in a lot of Star Wars fans' opinions. And she is, even though she's not making every decision, she's the leader right now.
Yeah.
So that matters, and that's part of the job. Like, you have to take the heat because that's your position. And I just feel like, how long are you on a personal level going to withstand
Want
the
to do
heat
it?
want to do it. So I was really excited for a new wave of Star Wars.
Well, the new report, this that we're about to read, kind of hints that wasn't really her choice and that Disney kind of suggested it, but we'll talk about that. But I gotta address something in the comments. This is a problem that I think that the internet has, and the reason why no one on both sides here can't be taken seriously, because someone in the comments said, well, she shouldn't let the misogynists win. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? I'm not going to tell you that there aren't some misogynists that aren't like, oh, the second she got the role, like they were like, oh, she's terrible. Of course. But I always use this example. If you're someone like Steph, not a misogynist, has just said in the same way, like, yeah, it's time to move on. It's time to do this. And you look at it like a sports team that we've said many times over. There is a good coach that is brought in on the team, but just can't make it work. And a majority of people feel this way. You can't lump in one group of people and say, well, if she steps down, then they win. That is so irresponsible. It is wrong to do. It defeats the purpose. It hurts the actual fight. You got to stop doing that stuff. You have to. It happens all the time where people are like, oh, you don't like this movie? You don't like this show because there's a female lead. You don't like this show because there's this person there. You don't like this show because of that. And I'm not telling you there aren't a section of people that's very true. But when you lump the whole audience in that's the reason why, you do a disservice to the actual fight. So please think about it. Think about it before you write that stuff.
Yeah.
All right.
And it's also not her first year, you know.
Right.
It's not her second year, it's not her third year, it's not her fourth year. There's years and years of information that we've all been receiving, and people are making I can't make it clear enough that I'm a feminist, but I think that she's a talented woman, but I don't think it fits anymore.
Right. And that's what I mean. There are times that kind of comment can be appropriate. This is not that.
For sure.
This is not that situation. It just is not. This is someone who just had an incredible career, not the right fit for this job. So stepping down is not letting anyone win. It's time to go. So just think about that stuff before you type it and tweet it and do things. It's lazy. It's lazy. All right. Here is the actual story itself here. And Kathleen Kennedy, there's more news now. This is more about the succession role, if it actually happens. In the wake of the report earlier this week about Lucasfilm's Kathleen Kennedy's potentially leaving her position towards the end of the year, plenty of speculation has quickly arisen in regards to who her potential successor could be. CNN published its own report a few hours later, saying that there is nothing there right now in regards to the retirement talk, and any announcement would be made when actual decisions are made. The dismissal has done nothing to quell the speculation. First up, the Insider reports that even when Kennedy does exit the top job, she'll still likely be producing projects with the Star Wars universe for years to come. Snyder compares it to how Amy Pascal left the top job at Sony Pictures and yet is still producing the Spider-Man movies. Whereas Lucas handpicked Kennedy to take over Lucasfilm in 2012, Disney is making the call here, and Kennedy won't be easy to replace. Look at that. That's the statement right there, Steph. Whereas Lucas handpicked Kennedy to take over in Lucasfilm in 2012, Disney is making the call here, and Kennedy won't be easy to replace. Kennedy has decades. Maybe they could be saying that they're making the call of who. Yeah, I think that's what they're saying, actually, that it's more so that they're going to make the call on who replaces her instead of her. Okay, so we know that she's not picking the replacement. Disney is. At least that's what they insinuate. Kennedy has decades of experience working on some of the most successful movies ever made, even before she got involved in the Star Wars universe. Meanwhile, there are no real successors waiting in the wings, according to The Hollywood Reporter, who indicate one obvious issue is that the job is far more managerial in nature than creative. Their source saying the creative aspects are only about 10% of the work, is what we've been saying all week here. The rest is dealing with Disney licensing and fans. One possibility is for Marvel Studios' Kevin Feige to step onto the job as his own, as he's shown he can handle the creative and the executive aspects of the job. Feige is currently focused on recalibrating Marvel after being stretched too thin to the overly ambitious plans of Disney to bolster in its Disney Plus service. Another possibility is an arrangement similar to what is happening at DC Studios, where filmmaker James Gunn is paired with seasoned executive Peter Safran, allowing the former to focus on the creative, while the latter focuses on the business and administrative aspects. In this case, people like the Mandalorian showrunners Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni could be paired up with an executive like 20th Century Fox's former president of production, Emma Watts. Whoever is hired to take on a job that will see them face a lot of scrutiny and criticism from all sides, even as the franchise is at a low point with the financial and critical response to the assorted works providing rather mixed. Okay. My pick here, if we'll play fantasy booking here, I like the Emma Watts pick as the executive side of it and doing the Peter Safran role, right? Dealing with the licensing, all that stuff. The creative, you want to give it like if Favreau wants to do it in a James Gunn role, like I always, because the whole reason I said no to, I was like saying no, we shouldn't have Favreau do it because of that reason of the executive side of it. He doesn't want to do that shit, but the creative side of it, yeah, because I feel like he's going to be the guy that says, okay, look, what stories do you want to do? And he's better at listening to things where all right, that's a good pitch for that particular thing. I don't know enough about it, but that seems to be the team that does. I'm going to listen to what you say. He did this when he was working with Filoni on Mandalorian. There's certain things he didn't know. He wanted to do a Boba Fett thing. He was explaining why that couldn't necessarily work. What about a Mandalorian story? And he made that work creatively. He helped the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I think Filoni doing it is a disastrous call. I think it is the worst call that they can make, and I really hope that they don't do that. I think that if Favreau is the guy with an executive, that could work. Absolutely. Now the Feige aspect of it, you would have to throw the everything at him in order to do it, because the X-Men, if this was like 5 years ago or right after Endgame, and you're like, all right, we're gonna have him run Star Wars, and he'd probably be like, okay. And I don't know if they had bought Fox at that point. I don't remember. But X-Men's right around the corner, and he loves X-Men. But it's like I always bring up Theo Epstein, who are you a baseball person?
No.
Okay. So he won after the Red Sox had not won a championship since like 1918. They won one in 2004, and then he won another one. And he left. He was the GM, and he put together the teams and did everything. And then he left and he went to the Cubs, and the Cubs hadn't won in God knows how long. And then the Cubs won. So, and he's, looked upon as like one of the greatest general managers ever because of what he did. That is what Kevin Feige could do if he was with Marvel and then said, all right, he loves Star Wars. He loves it. That's a guy that I would be excited to hear what his vision would be. And it would be a little less than what he's got to do as far as managing all the TV shows and the full narrative and all that. So maybe it is a Feige thing, and that would create some big news. So I said a lot. Now you say a lot. What do you think about all this?
So this role is hard because I think that there are some options for sure, but I also think there's people that I don't know fully off like the top of my head, and that could be really great in that position. I didn't know Feige before that. I'm obviously like younger, so I wasn't as involved in the world as much, but I do think Favreau would be a solid choice. I really do trust his vision, and I think that creatively he can do really good, and it seems like he's very collaborative and people like working with him, which I think is a great sign and a really important factor for that position. So I would be happy with Favreau, and it seems like that would make sense. I hear you on the Filoni side. I just really, really enjoy his animation more than the live action stuff that he's done so far. And for Lucasfilm, they are more live action. That's where they were born into live action. They changed the shape of live action movies. So it's more important for someone to be really solid in that area for me at least. But I do think that there's a chance that it could be Filoni just because everyone respects George Lucas so much and it feels like that's his guy, and I'm assuming are going to want his blessing in some way, shape, or form. Or do you think that they're kind of like, it's time to just try to take it in a direction, like build off of the legacy, but take it in a new direction?
I think that he is highly regarded in the Disney circles and the Lucasfilm circles, and I think that he's definitely a name that's being thrown around. I don't think he has the experience to do it. I don't think that. I think creatively, I said this the other day, I think it turns into where right now it's Kathleen Kennedy's Star Wars. It's not Star Wars. It's Kathleen Kennedy's Star Wars. Tomorrow it will be Dave Filoni's Star Wars. If you put Favreau and an executive in there, it'll become Star Wars, because he's not going to want to be the one going, oh, well, George did this and then George did that, and if I have to do this, and you should absolutely, and I said this many times, you should absolutely keep to the fundamentals of what made George Lucas's Star Wars and his storytelling. But when you get so close to the vest and you start poo-pooing ideas because you know better than everybody else, that's a problem. And it's going to hurt. It's already hurt the brand. It's hurt the brand. Look what he's done with television. He's been the major, creative voice of what people should be doing, and it's been disastrous. So I think it's a bad move to have him, but I do think that Favreau, who's been in this game for a while, would be a very interesting choice. It'd be a comparable choice to like James Gunn. Like when you go, oh, wait a minute. Okay, James Gunn He's a big comic fan. He's this I just think Favreau would. The question is, would Favreau want to do it, right? Because that would now become his entire thing. I would love to see the dream pick is obviously Feige. That's the dream pick. My pick after that is an unknown executive that's just been kicking ass, and my pick after that would be Favreau with an executive. Those are what I hope, but it's gonna be Filoni, and it's gonna be a bad move.
You think?
Yeah,
I think so too.
Yeah, it's gonna be a bad move.
I think it's gonna be Filoni.
Yeah, and because they're gonna think that the fans, it's not 2017 anymore. Like, because they're gonna go, oh, they're gonna announce Dave, and when they announce him at Celebration, which is probably gonna happen. Yeah, everybody in the audience is gonna go woo, woo, and then the online everyone's gonna go, okay, great, we're gonna get basically just versions of all of the stuff he wants to do, and you're not gonna be able to expand it anymore. So, we'll see what happens, and it'll probably happen at Star Wars Celebration. But I don't know
in June or April.
No, it's a good call. I think it's in April. Let's see. Star Wars Celebration. I think it's April. Star Wars Celebration Japan dates are April 18th, April 20th. Yeah.
Okay. So soon. Yeah, they're definitely going to announce something then.
I think so too, because there was a report that we talked about yesterday where it said, like, because even they reiterated here where they said, well, there's nothing really set in stone until it's set in stone, which to me reads like somebody leaked this. We wanted to announce it, make it a big thing at Star Wars Celebration.
Yeah.
So we're saying right now, we don't really know yet. So there's nothing really set in stone yet. There's no decisions that have been made. So I think the decision has been made. And I think that, I think it's going to wind up being Filoni's going to get announced. And and everybody at Star Wars Celebration is going to go, yay. And then we'll talk about it on the show when they announce it. Are you still thinking about going?
No, we're not going to go this. I don't think so. Yeah.
Okay.
I want to so bad, but no, there's too much stuff to do.
There's a lot to do. I ask you guys though, what do you think about it? Do you think that this has been the conversation all week, man? This is the back and forth. Is she going to go? Is she not going to go? If she does, who should be there? Do you think it's going to be, a outside? They're going to shock everybody and they're going to say, no. You thought it was this person, but it's actually this person, or are we going to get exactly what we think we're going to get? Put your thoughts in there. Let us know. Okay, let's get to the next story. And this is a doozy here stuff too, because right around the corner, the Oscars. Okay, so there are no real front runners as the Oscar voters are speaking up. Every year in the days before the Oscars, before they air, several publications speak with unidentified members from the Academy to discuss their votes and what films are likely to fare well or badly at the upcoming ceremony. It happened again this year and has revealed some interesting thoughts. EW spoke with 4 people from different branches and some commonalities emerged. And the most shocking part of this is EW is still around. First up, there's not a whole lot of love for any films in the Best Picture lineup, with quite a few unseen, and those seen they seem to pick by default, as opposed to passionately liking their choice. Wicked and Conclave seem to emerge as potential winners here. Well, Steph, hear that? Wicked.
Yes.
Critics' favorites like Anora and The Brutalist didn't fare well. None of the 4 had seen Dune Part 2. None of the 4 Academy voters have seen Dune Part 2. I'm going to read that again. None of the 4 had seen Dune Part 2. Justifying why the Critics' Choice Award should be the only awards that matter, because those people are the ones who actually see movies. With at least 2 saying they didn't bother after disliking the first one. With at least 2 saying they didn't bother after disliking Villeneuve's first one. These are the people who are voting for the Oscars. Boo. Boo, I say. Nickel Boys also wasn't seen by at least 2 of them. These are the voters who have not seen the movies. All 4 had a different choice for director and for international film, but the acting choices were pretty clear, with Demi Moore, Timothee Chalamet, Kieran Culkin, and Zoe Saldana all getting strong support. Variety ran a similar piece, but with a much larger pool of 84 individuals. In their poll, Brutalist has some fans who've put it on top, but those who don't like it really don't like it, and they rank it low. Might hurt with the Oscars, preferential voting system. They suggest that Anora or Conclave remain the safest bets. One surprise is that 2 separate voters didn't vote for Rafe, saying he won before for Schindler's List. I hate these people. I hate every one of them. That's why he didn't win that award. Tommy Lee Jones won that year for The Fugitive. Wow. This is what I'm saying to people. There are even less front runners overall in these polls, and it's suggesting there could be anyone's game come Sunday night. Okay, I want all of those people that had their little conversations about my talk about when I talked about the Oscars and how they're a joke, and how they're like, oh, it's crazy, just want the popularity contest. It's like, no, I want people like this that are voting to not be voting. I want people like, and I say it again, the Critics' Choice Awards. Those are critics that have to see the movies that they're voting on because it's their job. They've seen it all. They know everything. They watch all of the movies so they can be educated. So when someone says, what'd you think about Dune 2? The answer is, well, I didn't really like it. I thought it was too long. I didn't like a lot of the performances. I liked the first one better. Not, I didn't see it because I didn't like the first one. Boo. They didn't see a lot of these things. They weren't even aware that Ralph Fiennes hadn't even won. He didn't even win. And they said, well, I didn't vote for him because he won for Schindler's List. Embarrassment. That is an embarrassment that you let people like that even vote. That is an embarrassment. This shouldn't matter to anyone, but it does. And everybody will talk about it. This is if these are people like that that are voting. And that is the problem with this. It is not just the matter of the whole, well, nobody knows what these movies are and this. That's a whole different conversation. This is a big problem. If you don't think it is, then I don't know what's wrong with you. But do you think this is a problem, Steph? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe. Or
oh my gosh, no. This makes me not want to watch the Oscars. This makes me think that they should absolutely all be taken off of the Academy list and not be able to vote. And it also makes me think that they should be sent screeners and it shows up on the other side if people have fully watched it from start to finish, at least like some sort of checks and balances, because it's not fair at all. It completely degrades the show. It's so unfair to these creators, actors, writers, editors, cinematographers, costume designers. Every single person who makes these films possible puts their blood, sweat, and tears, prays every night that they win an Academy Award. Like, this is the premier thing for these artists, and for them to not watch their movie is the most asinine thing ever.
And the reason why, because I didn't like the first one, is it? But it's nominated, you fucking idiot. It's nominated.
Shouldn't be allowed to. You should that the fact that they feel comfortable to say that is crazy. Like, who gave you the confidence?
There's no world anyone that actually had that interview will see this, but in case they did, you're all of those people who gave those interviews, you're an embarrassment to what you do. You're an embarrassment. The fact that you could even do that, and the fact that you're voting, and you are, because what I will agree on with the Oscars, what they do, they help people's careers tremendously. And the fact that you didn't want to watch it and you weren't going to vote for it, and you didn't even vote for somebody because they won one time, and they didn't in the case of Ralph Fiennes. Well, he won for Schindler's List. No, he didn't, dopey ass moron McGillicuddy. He didn't. What happened was that even if he would have won 7 times in a row, even if he won 7 times in a row from the last 7 years, it has nothing to do with it. The question is, did he have the best performance? Did they have the best performance? Was the director, even if it was a movie you didn't like, was it the best directed film? That's what you're there to do. That's your job. That's the power that you're given when you vote, you stupid assholes.
Totally. I'm with you. I think this is crazy. When I read this article, I had to reread it because I was like, wait, these are actual Academy voters who are saying this. This is crazy. So disrespectful to the art. It's insanity.
It's embarrassing. And it's like, but do you see my point where I think that the Critics' Choice should be the ones? Because if you're an artist, and wouldn't you feel more confident going into an award ceremony going, oh, I know the chances are that most of the people who voted here have seen my stuff and gave me a fair shot. After an interview like this, you can't feel like that about the Oscars. You can't.
No, for sure. Especially like if I'm if I'm even Timothee Chalamet, who had one of my favorite performances of the year in 2 movies, actually,
Yes.
and I hear this, it like, obviously, he's gonna be amped to win, but it is like, it degrades the award because you weren't I don't know, like, I always just like a athlete competitive mentality. I don't wanna win if the team just didn't play.
Right.
That's not a win.
But the problem is this didn't just start happening this year.
Right.
This has always been the way that it is for the academy. They give people, because if you're allowed to vote, or you're a higher stature, you're part of this, you can vote. Well, I haven't seen anything. Doesn't matter. You're part of the club. If you're part of the club, well, I've only seen 3 movies. Doesn't matter. Vote on what you wanted to vote on.
That's an I
It's
how is
crazy.
that the practice?
It's crazy that's it should be a you should have to you in when you are you have to be you have to watch the movies. You have to see them. Have you seen them? You know, that has to be a something that they ask you the question. Look, you have to have seen these movies in order to vote. You've got to watch them, because look at the schedules of some of these people. I've interviewed some of these people who are Academy of voters, and in my career, and you always hear from them, well, I'm too busy to even watch movies now. It's like, but you're
Then
Academy voter.
don't vote.
Don't vote, and don't be part of it. Don't be part of
I
it.
I feel weird talking about some of the nominations if I haven't seen
Of
just
course.
talking about them if
Right.
I haven't seen all of it. It's like, how do I get to pick that was Wicked was better if I
Agreed.
haven't seen Sing Sing?
I totally agree with you, and like that's why it's hard for me to say. Like, look, even with the controversy, the only one I missed really was Amelia Perez. I can't speak on it too much, like whether or not I think it deserves to win, because I haven't seen it yet. Right? Like, so it's like one of these things where I have to look at it and say, I want to watch it before and say, okay, look, this is a movie. I started watching it, so I can tell you that from what I've seen, and it's not my favorite, and
I could have guessed that.
I wanted to
I
watch.
just need to watch Nickel Boys, and then
Yeah,
there was there.
but either way, I do think that that this is an absolute embarrassment. Now, as far as the full on what is going to happen, it's interesting because I think I'm starting to waver a little bit. I thought that the Brutalist would win, um, but I think that maybe the controversy hurt it more than I thought it would. I think Anora might actually get it now. I think Anora is going to get it. Adrian Brody, I thought was a lock, but now, what do you think of Timothee Chalamet's speech the other day at the SAG Awards?
I loved it.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it. I can't stand the people that are saying, how dare he? Shame on all of you. Because the reason why, shame on all of you. You always want to get, well, I wish these people would be honest. I wish these people would do this. And I wish these people would really show you how really are. This guy just said, I want to be one of the greats. He got up there, and first of all, he's not too far away from being one of them because he's so locked in already. He is. I saw it. And look at my review of A Complete Unknown. I said, this guy's going to be one of the best. And I said, as he's saying those words, like, good on this kid. He wasn't disrespectful. He threw out names there and he said, look, I aspire to be great. You know who aspires to be great? Great people. You know who says I'm going to be one of the best of all time? The people who are considered best of all time. He's calling a shot like Babe Ruth, and good on him. I loved it. I thought it was raw. I thought it was honest. I thought and I thought that he's got the tools in order to say it. It's not like if I went up there tomorrow and said, I'm going to be the best actor of all time. They said, get off the stage, you stupid asshole. Right. And that's fine. And I deserve that. He doesn't deserve that. He deserves
He doesn't, and actually he's very well spoken. He said, I'm in pursuit of greatness.
Right.
That is not saying I'm greatness. He is trying every day. He wakes up and he wants to be great. You know who says that? Winners. And I talk about this on the show. That's winner mentality. That's 100%. Someone who really cares about their craft. You want someone who just is like an influencer who became an actor and doesn't really care, but it's like cool to have a heavy award on their mantle. No, I want someone who put their blood, sweat, and tears into this craft because the rest of the world, most of us, are doing that. So yeah, I thought it was super badass of him. And I thought it was really like he clearly didn't really prepare. He just thought maybe, but it was off the cusp and it felt really real. And I don't know how you could be mad at that. He didn't say he was the best. He said, I'm trying to be.
Yeah, you know what I'm bummed about, though. There's like two things though that I think could backfire, though, especially when you hear these stupid idiots who are voting, right? Do those morons, do they go, well, if he wants to be great, he's not getting my vote, right? So that's you could see that happening. Like, they don't go, clearly they're not going off the performance, they're going off of personal feelings, how they like them, if they feel like he deserved to win, because not because of the performance, because like, oh, he'll get it some other day, he'll get it some other time, he doesn't need it this year, which is so stupid.
So stupid.
You could see them hurting him in that, or maybe like, you know what, that was a pretty solid speech and we like the moxie on it, maybe, but I don't give it to them.
When was their deadline to vote?
Hopefully they fell asleep and didn't do it.
Oh yeah. Just please, I don't know how you can live with yourself if you vote and don't watch all the movies. Like, imagine if on the smaller scale of it, if Kristian sends me articles and then he brings them up and I'm like, I don't want to talk about that. I just don't like. I didn't like the title, so I didn't open the articles.
Right? Yeah. I don't. I just. It's not anything I want to talk about right now. Well, wait on the show. Right? Why are you on the show then? If that's the thing? Yeah. It's like, what do you mean? Like, I wanted to talk about movies and movie news, but not these. What? Yeah, that doesn't work.
Doesn't work.
It is absolutely the worst. All right, last thing, which is kind of like a no shit story, but I still think it's a pretty good one. Zazlav wasn't happy about the Joker 2 failure. To which, again, really? I thought he would have been thrilled. But a new report at Bloomberg has gone into how Warner Brothers Discovery David Zazlav is not too happy about the misfires Warner Brothers Picture has had recently. The outlet indicates that Zazlav has summoned Warner Brothers co-chief Michael DeLuca, Pamela Abdi to company headquarters in New York after the critical and commercial disaster that was Joker Folie à Doodoo. That film famously cost 4 times as much to make as its predecessor, but earned only 1/5 of the box office revenue of the original. DeLuca and Abdi supervised the project from start to finish after joining Warner Brothers in 2022. In a closed-door meeting, Zazlav reportedly rallied against the performance of the film and decried the mounting costs of the studio's upcoming release. A Warner Brothers spokesperson disputed the trade reports description of the meeting, calling it a straightforward Joker 2 postmortem. The report indicates that the movie studio struggles have weighed on earnings at parent company Warner Brothers Discovery, which has lost more than half its market value since the $43 billion merger of Discovery and Warner in 2022. Warner Brothers Pictures used to be one of the most stable and profitable studios in Hollywood, but was lagging behind rivals Disney and Universal. And in addition, it had been having issues well before the Discovery takeover, from the various DC flops to losing Christopher Nolan to Universal. DeLuca and Abdi appointments appear to be right. DeLuca and Abdi's appointments appear to right the ship. The pair putting faith and financing into acclaimed directors making original projects. Unfortunately, it's not clear if it's going to pay off. Next month's Bong Joon-ho's directed Mickey 17 cost more than $100 million to produce, but the film's tracking an opening weekend of no more than $20 million in North America. How does that movie get greenlit for $100 million? How? I get it. I get it. Who he is. He's a great director. He's one of the best. But that movie is not $100 million movie. Holy shit, man. At least $130 million has been spent on Paul Thomas Anderson's new film, despite his highest grossing film to date being There Will Be Blood at $76 million, while Ryan Coogler's Sinners is already coming in at cost at least $90. Exactly. What are you doing? I mean, come on. The most successful box office these days is tied to an existing IP and properties that can produce sequels, consumer products, spin-off series, and more. That's why Warner's will have more IP-driven titles: Superman, Final Destination, Mortal Kombat, Cat in the Hat films this year, along with Minecraft movies and Apple's F1. MoffettNathanson's analyst Robert Fishman says clearly the focus needs to be on the returns and how the film studio is going to make more money going forward. Costs are down, with the average net production cost of Warner Brothers films down from $168 million to $106. Oh, Steph. Yeah, man. I mean, look, this is one of those things where you get that whole thing was handled terribly, and they let Todd Phillips run amok with that movie. And I get, like, if a movie does well, and the director says, hey, I want a little bit more money than the first one. Okay. But that much more, plus, hey, everything that everybody liked about the first one, just change it. change it completely and just go crazy with it. Do whatever you want to do. Like, what do you expect? What do you
Yeah.
expect?
Right. Yeah, it seems like poor leadership right now,
Yeah.
in the similar sense that we were talking about Lucasfilm, where it just they've made some poor decisions, right? They didn't sign the deal with Christopher Nolan, right? And that felt
Oh,
like
it's so stupid. They lost him because
that felt like
the
the
game was
stupidest thing
ever.
ever. So, I mean, right now they have, I guess the Harry Potter show is the one I'm looking forward to, but they don't have a lot. I know they have the Monster Universe and people like that, but oh no, that's Universal. I don't even Warner Bros. Yeah, so it seems like the money that they're just throwing out feels careless in the similar sense as Lucasfilm, where it's like, why don't you try to make these movies for less money right now and see what happens, as opposed to just trying to have these huge spectacles of movies that aren't really working?
Yeah. I don't know. It is leadership and silliness, I think, going on right now. So everybody put your thoughts in there. Let us know what you think about that report. But there is another report that our producer Luke just sent me, and I'll probably lead with this on Capes and Cowls tomorrow, but we'll cover it here right now. The rumor is that Kevin Feige is planning to step down as Marvel Studios president, but not anytime soon. I mean, what does that mean?
Okay.
What does that mean? Hey, he's planning on stepping down. When? I don't know, probably 30 years, 40 years from now. Oh, okay. What does that mean? We're hearing that there might be some truth to the rumor that Kevin Feige is planning to retire as president of Marvel Studios, but it probably won't be for a few more years. Okay. There have been calls for Kevin Feige to step down as Marvel Studios president for years, even at the height of the success and popularity. But even some longtime fans of the franchise have now begun to lose faith in his ability to steer the ship. I don't know how true that is. You blame it on him? Or you blame it on the fact, I don't know. Feige is still the highest grossing film producer of all time, and the projects he's involved in have a combined worldwide box office of over $31 billion. However, the last few Marvel Studios, Deadpool and Wolverine aside, have underperformed while also earning more negative reviews from critics. With a solid start, Captain America Brave New World dropped by 68% in its second weekend, with $28.3 million from 4,105 North American theaters. The movie is now approaching $300 million worldwide on a reported budget of $180, but this is before marketing costs, and some believe the actual budget would be closer to $300 million after extensive reshoots. Count me in that crew. Even if this information is false, the movie may still struggle to make a profit by end of its run, and this has to be viewed as disappointing result after the massive success of Deadpool and Wolverine. Hard to argue with the perception that the MCU simply isn't the world-conquering franchise it once was, and a lot of people believe it's time for Feige to hang up his spurs and give someone else an opportunity to get things back on track. Last night, Feige was named as a possible contender to replace Kathleen Kennedy at president of Lucasfilm. We're not sure if this is actually on the cards. Analysts believe it will probably end up being Dave Filoni. Boo. We are hearing that he is planning to step away from Marvel at some point. Scooper My Time to Shine Hello is reporting that Feige is indeed set to retire as Marvel Studios president, but it won't be until after the X-Men reboot is released, which means he will staying on top of the mound for at least 2 or 3 years. That's X-Men, I'm telling you. It's worth noting that My Time to Shine Hello reported that Kennedy will be stepping down in 2025 last September. And if accurate, this wouldn't necessarily have anything to do with the current slate of the studio. Nobody stays in a position forever, and Feige has been running things since 2007. Okay. So, okay. I mean, look, like I said to you, I think that he's going to be around to shepherd in X-Men. I think he wants to. I think that the difference to me is that he had those first 3 phases of Marvel that who the hell can say that they did something like that? Who can say they did? I mean, like, that's why when they're like, oh, people have been calling for his head for years. That is when you get more so, you go to the sports analogy again, where teams have just been winning championships. They won like 7 championships in a row, and then they had a couple of seasons off, and then they won 3 more championships after that. And then the coach has been the coach the whole entire time. And then they've had like 6 shit seasons. And the fans are going to be like, get rid of him. You're like, did you forget all the championships the guys won for you? Like, and not just with box office, with quality. And I mean, rewatching these movies with Sam has just been like, what he accomplished is crazy. So I think he deserves the kind of opportunity if he wants to stick around to do it. And I think especially with the X-Men. But yeah, the selfishness in me is going, take the job at Lucasfilm, man. Walk away now. Let somebody else do this shit. You've been doing it forever. Take the job at Lucasfilm. I don't know, Steph. What do you think about the idea that he's potentially going to step down eventually?
That makes sense. I think what the article said, like no one's supposed to have the same position forever, especially in this business.
Right.
You know, your interests differ. You feel like you've accomplished something, and he, like you said, has accomplished more than most can ever say. I mean, he changed the face of how we view comic book movies and how we're invested into a 20 plus movie run. That's insanity, where all of them are decent movie, especially those first that to Endgame. There's some great, some of my favorite movies, and there's just all solid installments. And so I think that it makes sense that I don't think there's any, to me, I do give him more leeway because I think some of his problems come from the industry changing and evolving to the industry changing, as opposed to it wasn't working from before and after. Because when the pandemic hit, we went into show mode, and I would have done the exact same thing if I was in his position. I would have said people are staying at home, they're watching Tiger King, they're watching Bridgerton, they're watching all those shows that exploded in 2019, and we should be doing that. People want TV shows, and we've talked about it all the time. Like there was a period where it was like, I think I might start liking TV shows better than movies just because of the way they're being created right now. You can spend more time with characters. And I think we're kind of in this in between position now where we're like, okay, there's a place for both. It just depends on the story. And I think Marvel was going through that transition of figuring out how they want to tell the story, what the fans want to see. And now I'm really curious to see what that X-Men phase looks like. And I have no, I'm not like counting him out in any way, shape, or form. I'm more curious to see how do they pivot from this. I've actually really respected the way that he's like, we had to look in-house because clearly things weren't working. I loved that honesty and understanding that it didn't work. You know, you're not going to have everything work out perfectly for you. So yeah, I think he's really great. I don't see him coming to Star Wars quite yet. If he does later, that'll be awesome, but I think there will be a person in between.
Agreed. All right. So everybody, thoughts, comments, concerns, put your thoughts in there. Let us know what you think about the potential of Kevin Feige sticking around, not sticking around. What say you? We'll discuss this more on Capes and Cowls with Winston and Coy tomorrow. All right, we're going to get to the questions. Before we do so, I've got to tell you about our friends over at NordVPN. I've talked to you guys about Nord. I'm going to tell you about them again. Now, it doesn't really matter, as I've said to you, what you're looking to watch, right? You want to try to find something, and you're like, well, they don't offer that in my area. And a lot of times that can happen with sporting events. It can happen with TV shows. It happens with film. There's things that aren't available in your region, but you can switch your virtual location to a country which is showing the event. You can protect your private data like bank details, passwords, online identity. NordVPN can switch your virtual location, allowing you to save money by purchasing flights, hotels, subscriptions from other countries at cheaper price. It is NordVPN, and it is the fastest VPN in the world. There's no buffering, there's no lagging while streaming, and it stops your ISP bandwidth throttling. The best part about this, one NordVPN account can be used up to 10 devices. So if you want to get the best discount off your NordVPN plan, go to nordvpn.com/KH show. Our link will give you 4 extra months of the 2-year plan. There's no risk with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. Link is in the podcast episode description. So NordVPN, check them out. All right, Steph, you want to hear what we got here so far? You got to catch up to both Mike and Roxy, Turncoat Mike. 33 right now. You need about 227 in order to.
I believe in you guys.
Yeah. So look, I never count you out. Other people, when they have that number going into it, I guess it's gonna be tough. But with you, you never know. Go pal. I am still stuck in meetings all day. Support. Thank you, Go pal.
Sending support to you. That sucks.
Yeah, for real. Aaron Anna, which hero has the most love interests in the MCU? It's a great question. Is it Black Widow? Black Widow, right? Steve at one point, Bruce. Anybody else? No, who else?
Well, the biggest ladies man is Iron Man.
Well, is he? I mean, in the beginning he is, but then he's kind of stuck to Pepper.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, and then Hawkeye's tied down. Yeah, it's probably Black Widow, but hers are so like not even half baked. They're like you got the ingredients, but then didn't even put them together. You certainly didn't bake them. So I don't think yeah. They you know who needs one in my opinion? Captain America. I think Sam would I want a love story for Sam so bad and I wish they did it in the movie.
Doesn't
need to be main. Doesn't need to be main. I just think it would influence his character. It would give me more for his character.
Maybe you're right. It's true. He follows it up. It's Daredevil. He has 5 love interests. That's a good one.
Solid.
Too. That's solid too. Al Rencha. I think Anora is the clear front runner right now. I'm not going to argue with you on that. Not going to argue.
I mean, it will be crazy if Anora wins.
I think that there's just too much around it. The other stuff right now. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I think I would pick Anora or over Conclave. It just feels like Anora for a lot of I can't imagine like my parents would probably be like, that was an interesting pick about it because it's so gritty and real. But it's also super, it's provocative.
It is. Luke TG1. Hope you're well. Steph, I would say FTW. He says for the win, but I'm going to say fuck the world. R.I.P. Gene Hackman. Yes, the best. Yeah, the other day I said that, and Roka's like, "No, it's for the win." Mike Joyce, best animal movie. Just watched and loved Flow. I'll tell you which one I really liked that I forgot to even mention in my honorable mentions last year was Arthur the King. Have you seen that one, Steph?
No.
It just came out last year. It's with Mark Wahlberg and this true story about do you know anything about it?
No. Is it good?
It's really good. I think you'd love it. It's this guy he's part of they do this big races every year. They got to go across these terrains, whatever they do, and it's Simon Liu and Mark Wahlberg, and Mark Wahlberg goes to do he blows it in this when they open up the movie, and then he's pretty much retired, but he comes back to try to do it again, and he's got to put together this kind of ragtag team to do it. But while they're out there trying to do it, this dog starts following them around, and it's like a kind of homeless dog, and it follows them all the way through. It's a true story, and follows them all the way through with this race, and I loved it. I really did. I loved it.
Cool.
And I watched it with my wife, and she loved it too. James Lavario. I had to say goodbye to my 16-year-old Pomeranian last night. I'm sorry. Right before I started talking about Arthur the King. He and I both made an appearance on SEN Live back in the day. R.I.P. Little trivia. R.I.P. and did 16. Great life.
Such a good life for a dog. 16. That's solid.
Very solid. 16.
So cute. Yeah, I'm sorry. Never enough time, though.
No. Chris A. Daredevil episode lengths are out, and they are all over the place. A couple are in the 30-minute area. I'm upset. So I'm going to start watching them. If not today, I got the screener link, so I'm going to start watching them. Yeah, if not today, my goal was to try to watch one of them and do like an immediate reaction to it because the social embargo has lifted. I'm going to try to, but I got Sam coming in, and I'm doing a live stream for members after this too. So,
okay.
And for people, sorry, go ahead.
When you watch it, Harry hasn't seen the original Daredevil series, so I want to know if he should watch that before. So just let me know.
Definitely. And for people who are going to be part of the live stream today, it's going to be a shorter one because I got Sam coming in today. So we're probably, as soon as I'm done with the stream today, I'm going to pop in, do the live stream with everybody, with the members. So hop in there, watch, ask any questions you want to ask. But it's going to be a short one because I got to get her in here to do. We're going to record Spider-Man 3. Spider-Man 2 is already done. It should be up tomorrow. So
oh my gosh,
yeah, she watched Spider-Man 1, and she called Kirsten Dunst Sucia, which means dirty in Puerto Puerto Rican.
What?
Yeah. Ewok. Look at the first image from Lanterns. All I can think is, holy smokes, I want Kyle Chandler's jacket. We're going to cover that tomorrow on Capes and Cows.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's cool.
Okay.
Ewok. R.I.P. to Gene Hackman. In addition to his classic roles, I loved him in Cribs and Tide, Get Shorty, The Birdcage, and his cameo in Young Frankenstein. Great cameo in Young Frankenstein.
I haven't seen that.
You've
But
never seen Young Frankenstein?
No.
You have never seen Young Frankenstein?
I don't think so.
No, you would know. I mean, Steph, that is like for aspiring improv comic, and I mean, that is like that is, you need that should be your next one. That should be your next one.
Oh my gosh. You know what's so funny? My sister and I, because of the Gene Wilder Netflix doc, that was just so amazing. If you haven't watched that, guys, check it out. He is such an incredible person. But it was the one that, because I went through in the pandemic, I watched almost all of Gene Wilder's movies. But this one she watched and I hadn't watched it yet. Yes, Mel Brooks. Yeah, loved it. Loved it.
It's
so that's funny that I'm seeing it now. She's gonna rewatch it with me.
Man, okay. I was like, well, if you start a channel ever,
yeah, that one,
and you're able to do reactions on them, you have to do that with your sister.
Okay.
Save it, because you'll laugh.
Yeah. Okay, I'll save that. Yeah.
Old man Mike, listen, buddy boy, I am a turncoat. What can I say? Well, at least you can admit it.
Mike,
I know you left Steph hanging. Nathan Drake, I don't deserve this, to die like this. I was building a house, a villain's death, where I actually felt bad for him. He earned that Oscar. Have you seen Unforgiven?
Yeah, it's really old, right?
93.
Yeah, for me. Yes. I saw it years ago.
Great movie. Andrew Kavolka, love the Spider-Man reaction. I can't wait for Spider-Man 2. Which Spider-Man movie is your favorite? You know, I always go through such different things when I watch these movies again, because I have because Winston, myself, and Coy did a rewatch of the Spider-Man movies about 3-4 years ago, and we talked about them. And I found a bigger appreciation for the Raimi Spider-Man. I still don't like the third one, but I liked it better than I did in the past, but I still don't like the third one. But the first two, yes, there's a lot of campy stuff. There's a lot of Raimi thing in there that is just like, it's more Raimi than it is Spider-Man, but they're good movies. They're really good movies, the first two. And I enjoyed watching Toby. So let me watch the other two Andrew Garfield ones again. And I got to give, then I'll give my answer, but it might be No Way Home. It might be No Way Home because of everybody's in it. They're all in it.
It's so good, but for me, it's probably Into the Spider-Verse right now.
Oh, well, if you're including those, not live action, if you're including those, ooh, I still put No Way Home up there, but I wouldn't. But the first Spider-Verse would probably be right behind it.
No Way Home is so solid.
Yeah. Mike Joyce, Severance predictions for tonight's episode. I don't want to spoil anything. I don't want to spoil anything. What? No, I haven't seen it. No, I haven't seen it. I don't want to spoil. I don't want to even guess, because for people who it's too fresh right now because I want to. There's a lot going on. I just say there's a lot going on with Adam Scott right now. I'll tell you that.
Right.
The hell's going on?
I have no idea. I just know that every episode gets crazier.
All right, let's see. Next one here is Simon Section. R.I.P. to Gene Hackman. Kristian, do you believe that Enemy of the State is a continuation of Mr. Hackman's other film, The Conversation? Excuse me, I need to make a phone call. Let's see. It might be. You know, I need to go and rewind. I did this whole thing. They sent me The Conversation. I have like this whole new restored version of it and everything too. And I need to rewatch that and revisit that one again. But it could be. And I want to do a Gene Hackman kind of revisit, because all his stuff is so good.
The Richard Pryor, Gene Hackman. Yes, I'm on Gene Wilder still. Gene Hackman for sure. There's I just looked at his there's 5 to 10 solid movies I need to watch.
Yeah.
Because he's been in so many movies.
Big Bang OT4, Jon Favreau and Filoni as co-presidents? No. But what I could see, if they did give the seat to Favreau, that he would keep Filoni. I think he works very well with Filoni, and I think he would keep Filoni on as his main creative advisor if he did that. but not together. No, because you need somebody who can make the business decisions. Andrew Kabolka, what do you think of the news of Misha Collins and Jared Padalecki joining The Boys? And do you think there's a chance of a Supernatural revival? So I can't pretend that I was a big Supernatural fan. I didn't really watch it. Not that I wasn't a fan. I just didn't watch it. But I need to interview Misha Collins. Do you know why?
Why?
I have a set that I did from the Improv, and it's on YouTube right now. But it was from like 2007 or something. And I am pretty damn sure that I was speaking to Misha Collins in the audience when I asked somebody. I said, "What's your name?" And he goes, "Misha." And I was talking to him, and it sounds like him from the audience itself. I have to find out if that was him in the front row.
That'd be fun.
I always wanted to know if that was Misha Collins that was sitting in the front row. So if anybody knows if that was Misha Collins, let me know. But otherwise, we have to get him on the show and ask him. I need to know if that was Misha Collins. As far as joining The Boys, sure, why not? You join Jensen Ackles, and that'll be fun for people. And if they can do a movie or something for Superman, I think Jensen Ackles is over it. To be honest, I think he wants to move on to other things. Steph, do you watch 1923?
No.
That's another one you need to watch.
I know my dad is his favorite show of all time. Or I think he liked it's the
1883.
Yeah, he loves both of them, but he loved 1883.
I loved 1883. 1923 finally came back, and Sadie and I were obsessed with the first season. We were talking about how Brendan Sklar was going to be a star when we first started watching season 1, and now he's everywhere, and everyone's talking about him now. He dominates the first episode. He dominates it. Like the scenes that he's in. I said to Sadie, I'm like, he's probably going to be Batman, and she's like, he needs to have a huge action franchise. He does. There's this scene that he's on this boat, and something's happening to somebody. I'll just say, and he gets involved and beats the piss out of this guy. And it's in a way you're like, oh, this is the next guy. This is the next big star. Like,
that's cool.
Yeah, Sadie's like, I think this is the next big movie star. Like, we haven't had one like this since like Brad Pitt. And I'm telling you, I said, I know. Sadie said that. And I was like, yeah, this is the guy. He's gonna get something huge. He just has that thing. So if anybody hasn't seen 1923, even if you don't want to watch episode 1 of season 2, if you don't have any plans on going back, even if you're lost, just to watch his scenes, you'll be convinced. He's so good. Ewok. John Lithgow, who turns 80 this year, said the Harry Potter series would end when he's 87, confirming that HBO intends to release a season every year. It's a risk, man. I love John Lithgow, but it's a risk.
Was it confirmed?
Yeah, confirmed. He confirmed
it. Oh, it was fully confirmed. Oh.
Yeah, confirmed now. So, yeah,
I mean, maybe he's like Roxy's grandma.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. But it's just a lot. It's just a lot of work.
It's a lot, especially coming from the previous legacy. You'd think that they would be err on the cautious side, but
right. I know. I thought, apparently Mark Rylance was offered the role, but because he had his wife passed away, so he's off, which I completely understand. Obviously, Big Bang OT4. Could a mature tone Power Rangers reboot work? I'll tell you, I didn't mind that movie that they did. It didn't do very well, but I didn't mind that movie. It was way after my time. The Power Rangers. But the movie itself, I liked that movie. Did you see the movie?
No,
I didn't mind it.
I haven't seen it, but I do feel like if they had someone like James Gunn doing it, I think that there could be a way to like reinvent it to a
maybe
like fun. Yeah, because it is. We rewatched a show which I grew up on, obsessed. It is so like the villains are like not crazy villains. No. It's so just caricature.
Yeah, but watch the movie. They take it a little bit more serious.
Okay.
David Jordeo. Personally, I think Kathleen Kennedy should take over Disney live action films. I mean, maybe she could be doing more stuff on that side. I mean, she should get into go back to the more traditional producing side of things for sure. Nathan Drake. Sport for Steph, looking amazing. Wow, those shoulders. Where's Big Balls?
Thank you.
He's on vacation.
I've been working out too. I'm with Kristian. I like reached a point where I was like, I need to step it up a little.
Yeah. So that's that. I needed to do it. Steph, glad you're doing it also. Sugar Rush Times. Tony Gilroy would be perfect to take over Lucasfilm. No, he wouldn't. Because Tony Gilroy is not a big Star Wars guy. He's not. He said it as much. He just wants to make. But the one thing that he is good at is that he's good at collaborating for that particular project, he has no interest in piecing everything together and putting all the movies together. That's not something he wants to do. He wouldn't be a good choice because his heart wouldn't be in it. It's not something he would want to do.
It's such a different job from
It
being
is.
a writer,
Yeah,
creator
one
to
show
a
as opposed to the whole
executive.
narrative. Yeah, and like, yeah, no. Ewok. Jamie Campbell Bower cast in Rings of Power season 3. That's a hopeful thing. That was one of my favorite interviews last year. I love Jamie Campbell Bower.
Yeah.
What a great dude he was. I liked having a conversation with him. He was just very open, very chill. We had a great conversation. I root for him. So if he's
solid.
in it, yeah, he's great. Big fan of Jamie Campbell Bower.
He's for sure going to be an elf. For sure, right?
It has to be.
He has to be an elf.
Yeah, it has to be. Ryan King, did you see that Shrek 5 teaser DreamWorks put out today? No. Do you think they'll change the animation style back due to the backlash? Is it too late? I haven't seen. Did you see the teaser?
I didn't mind it at all. I think if you look at the first Shrek, it is so clearly, it still holds up. Shrek is one of my favorite animated movies, but it is very dated. So I don't think they changed it so much where it changes the integrity of it. But Zendaya is going to play Shrek's daughter, and I think that's so fun.
I have to watch. I have to watch the teaser.
It's a 5-second clip. Nothing happens. You hear Zendaya's voice basically.
Zeus Fleming, why can't Filoni expense the story? He fit that already with Clone Wars and Bad Batch and Rebels. What do you mean by expense the story? Do you know what he means?
No.
Why can't he
extend?
Expense. He fit that story with the Clone Wars and Bad Batch.
Oh, like stop this story
with this one?
This phase of
I don't know.
Ahsoka and the Clone Wars.
Why can't he get past? I mean, he likes playing in that era. I don't know. Maybe he thinks that's where everybody wants to play. And thinks that's what the stories where George wanted to say.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that's probably what he meant, is expand the stories. Mike Joyce, I'm rooting for Ariana, Sebastian, and Strong to win. I'd like to see a lot of upsets. I would. And I'd like to see people who, I'll tell you, and again, I got nothing against Kieran Culkin. I actually think he's a great talent. And I think he's
hysterical.
He's hysterical, but
his tight 3 in the SAG Awards.
Well, yeah, but I would like to see either Edward Norton or who's the other one that I kept saying, or Guy Pearce. Those are the two that I think were better this year. But yeah, we'll see. Ray Fiennes. This is from Sean McCabe. What's up, Sean? Ray Fiennes was great in Conclave. He was. Stanley Tucci as well. Yep. Cool headphones there, Steph. Got to get my daughter a set. Yeah, where'd you get those, by the way?
They're Razer, so gamers will know. Yeah, and they're pretty well priced and they're super solid.
Those are great.
Yeah, Stanley Tucci. First when I saw Stanley Tucci, I was like, kind of afraid because the movie was such a certain tone, and Stanley Tucci is just so funny to me. But he did really well.
Yeah, he did. Ziki Numanoglu. I hope I said that right. Probably didn't. Considering the JFK files will be released, I recently watched Oliver Stone's JFK. Such a magnificent film. It really is. Sad it still does not get talked about in this day and age. I know. It's just a matter of, I mean, the movie was, 1992. So there's just so much stuff that has come out in that time that, it's not one of those ones that people are talking about. And plus, there's a lot of things that he kind of maneuvered within that movie. So it's not looked upon as like complete fact, but it's a great movie. It's a great movie.
Mm-hmm.
Zeus Fleming. Just wanted to send support off to visit my mom in palliative care. I'll catch the pod later. Thank you, Zeus. Really appreciate your support, and I hope your mom's doing okay.
Mm-hmm.
RQM DSMD support for Steph. Great show today. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Derek Johnson. I've been crazy slam, but sending support and always enjoyed the show. Derek, you're the best. Love Derek.
You're the best. Yeah, thanks.
Kyle Wilson. I can't wait for Conan to host the Oscars. Who's your all-time favorite late night talk show host? I'd probably say Letterman.
Yeah, probably Letterman, but I think of the newer, I like Kimmel.
Let's see. This is again from Ziki, who says, "Hey, from Australia, it's almost 7 a.m. And thank you so much, Ziki. You're very generous. I recently watched all the MCU phases. I want to do it again, but in the timeline order: Captain America 1, then Captain Marvel, then Iron Man. I'm going to incorporate Daredevil in the Punisher series too. Go for it." And yeah, there's only so much we're able to do with Sam because as far as time goes, but I think we're right now, like I said, we're finishing the Spider-Man movies, and then we're going to jump into Far From Home. But Then after Far From Home, we're gonna get into WandaVision. So that's where we land right now in Marvel. And then Tina and I did Craven, by the way.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I did Craven. It comes out on Saturday.
Okay. Okay. I'll wait for.
It's exactly what everyone was saying it was. I will say this. I started off and said this. This movie's not that bad. And then I said,
No.
the first like 15 minutes, you're like, and then it doesn't really know what it is.
Right. Like the Calypso stuff was bizarre to me, how it was handled.
I didn't even realize it was Ariana DeBose. And
she is so great. Yeah.
And some of the dialogue is just atrocious. What's up, Tyler? Rockin' movies with Tyler. Andrew Guy making his mark in TV with his first appearance on Matlock tonight. Oh, I gotta watch. Quote, I'm so on right now. Yeah, that's from Guy when he played Merle. But yeah, I want to get Guy on the show, and I want to support him and get him on here because I think everybody watch that because I think he's one of the best actors that I know that.
Yes, he's so talented.
So good. He's really good. Derek Johnson, I believe Feige should stay. You don't get rid of a championship quarterback due to a bad season. Exactly, Derek. The MCU is his crowning achievement. Why stop? I'll take his proven record up against anybody. Hard to argue with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He's great. He's great, and I just want to see. I would love to see him go again, selfishly to another team. Lucas, I wrote on here a few weeks ago that if Dune 2 doesn't win Best Film, the Oscars are dead to me. Now they officially are. Oh, there's no way, Luke. There's
no way.
You got a better shot of my sneaker jumping off of my foot and singing a song and saying, hey, we were sent here by aliens, than you do Dune winning Best Picture. There's just no world.
Yeah, that would be crazy.
I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah. Swamp Crotch. Support.
Nice.
There you go.
Thank you.
Scott Horowitz. What's up, Scott? Kristian, now that you're on the East Coast, how about doing a Q&A with Kevin Smith at Smodcastle Cinemas? I got to get in touch with him. I reached out to him before I moved, but I haven't reached out to him since. I'd love to catch up with Kevin. I got along with Kevin very well. Luke TG1, Carlton Rudder, and Bruce Crawford sent some super chats on Monday to say they aren't doing too good. You got this, guys. Stay awesome. Best podcast. Did that get lost? Oh no, Carlton. They both sent and we read them. Okay, that's what you're saying. Yeah, I hope they're doing well also. And Carlton will and Bruce are two major supporters. So they're great. There's such great individuals, and I have a chance to talk to them both. So hang in there, as Luke says. RJ McReady, Jeff Snyder's DCU source says Superman is bad and some tiny pickup shots magically made it good. I know Gunn publicly called his Superman VFX team fired scoop fake, but nice about face, Jeff? Nah, it's not Jeff. You don't know Jeff. If you think that, nah, you don't know Jeff. That's not his style. He's not just an about face guy because someone said it. That's not how he works.
Jeff doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, people see a persona out there and they think that they know who they are because of he's doing about face because James Gunn said, nah, that's not Jeff. If Jeff said, okay, I'm hearing that it's good, that's what I'm going to report. He's a reporter. He's very but people don't realize is that yes, I'm not going to pretend that Jeff Snyder is not a polarizing figure because he is. And he's a person that, sometimes in his own mission has spoken on Twitter and other things when he probably shouldn't have, and says things sometimes when he should just post and run. But he's a reporter. He is, and he holds true to that where he wants to be a reporter. So this is the about face thing. Nah, that's not him. He's a lot of things, but he's not one of these people that just like says, oh well, James Gunn, I want to be on his good side now. That's not how Jeff Snyder rolls. Derek Johnson, thank you, Derek. 53 right now, Steph. As we got about a half an hour left.
Okay.
More support from Derek as he's trying to push over the line there. Okay, next one here, and this is from Elusive Rock. Has Steph been convinced to check out the Terrifier movies yet? No, she'll never watch those.
No, I'm never watching the second and third.
Yeah. Mr. I Crap and Shits just wanted to say hello to the ever beautiful Steph. R.I.P. to Genesis Hackman, Roberto Orsi, and Michelle Trachtenberg. Keep up the great show. Yeah, crazy within 2 days, right? Isn't it always like the rule of 3 that always happens like that?
Yeah.
Crazy. But yeah, I mean, we talked about all of them, but yesterday, today, it's nuts. Speaking of which, Miriam just read that Michelle Trachtenberg died yesterday. May she rest in peace. Such sadness. Yeah, I mean, she was
So awful.
so awful, super young, you know?
Yeah. And she wasn't even 40.
No, she's like 38 or something. Yeah. Johnny Bravo, who's more important to a movie, director or producer? It depends on the movie. That's not an easy one to answer. There are sometimes when it's obviously the director, and there's sometimes when it's obviously the producer because the director can't get shit done. The producer's the one who's making it happen. I've been on sets when I'll tell you right now, when I was working at Silver, I had one production. I won't say the name, but there was a production where the director was just fumbling everything and just making things worse. And it was the producer on the movie who had to go in there, tie it up, mend things together, put it together, make sure actors were happy, make sure this was happy, make sure that, and got the thing to work and schedule the reshoots. And the producer was the one who kind of took over the whole thing. So, it's case by case.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Next one. Again, thank you to everybody here who has been donating. Brett Flint, have you heard about the new TVA comic that revealed the fate of Scarlet, which is canon to the MCU? No. Well, what did you hear about this stuff?
No.
No, I don't know. Not sure what it is. Let me know, Brett. I'm not sure. I don't know what the actual canon is now. All right, the best now. There are some just really good comments. Sometimes stuff that just blow you away. The next one is one of those. Zeke comes back in and says, "Fart." Yes. Brian McGovern, Stanley Tucci, funny to you, Steph? Seeing the lovely bones, you will quickly change your mind. Despicable character. He is pretty despicable in that movie. You ever seen that movie?
Yes, with Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah, he's the villain. He's the main villain.
Saoirse.
Yeah, he's the main.
I forgot he's the villain. Is he wearing a wig or something?
I don't know. Not sure, but he's pretty creepy in that. Mr. I crap and shits, for a replacement for Kathleen Kennedy, could you see them team a creative like Favreau with a business head like DC Studios to run Lucasfilm? Well, that's one of the reports says that as much. That if it's Favreau and an exec, I'm for that teaming. I think that would be interesting. Johnny Bravo, I did not recognize Boyd Holbrook as Johnny Cash. It's true. I figured it out through the movie, but he's like James Mangold's go to. For the little screen time he had, he was great. He was great as Johnny Cash. He really was. He transformed in that. I think more people should give him some credit. But Boyd's really, I mean, he's in every James Mangold movie for at least the last 5 of them. Okay, Zeke coming back in. Would you consider collaborating with Star Wars Theory on your channel? Well, we were supposed to do something a long time ago. Just my schedule is so tough with, everything I'm doing right now. I just told you I had in the morning. I put together my emails. I do some for my other channel. I go to the gym now. I come back here. I do a live show. Then I with Sam. I don't have time to do shit with anybody else too. It's hard. I've gotten people that have wanted to collaborate, that have asked me to collaborate. And I can't do it. There's a lot of people that I'd love to work with. That I'm just too. My schedule is shit. Derek Johnson, I'm concerned about DCU. There's no mainstream hype for Superman. Plenty of geeks paying attention, yes, but I can't shake this feeling that it feels directionless. Even with all the projects. I don't know. I don't know
if I feel that.
I don't agree with you there, Derek. I love you, but I don't agree with you on that one. I think there's a lot of mainstream hype for Superman. I think that the trailer doing the millions of views that it did got people pretty hyped up for it. And yes, I think that there are geeks paying attention to it too. I think there is direction to it. I think you just got to give it some time. But I understand you're being a little skeptic on this. I understand. Johnny Bravo, favorite to win Best Actress at the Oscars? Best Actress? No, Demi Moore.
It's Demi, or it would be Cynthia.
I think Maggie's got a better shot than Cynthia.
That's insane to me. I think Mikey had this category to me is the most stacked right now.
Mm-hmm.
Because the best actor, I think that there was a lot of great performances, but I'm not like that was a performance of a lifetime. I think that more with this case, but yeah, I think for the Academy, probably Mikey has a better chance, but to me, that's crazy. I mean, I
I thought she was good. I don't think she was Oscar good. I think Ariana Grande was Oscar wise, but you and I see that different.
Yeah.
Derek
No,
Johnson.
I think Ariana was amazing. I just think what Cynthia did, I don't. That's
Yeah,
just
I
my
know what I've seen it now so many different times. I think there's sometimes I feel like, I hate to say it, I feel sometimes she's acting. Sometimes. like
Yeah, I disagree.
Yeah, and a lot of people do. Derek Johnson, Gene Hackman, underrated and Quick and Dead as the villain. Yeah, that is an old school movie.
I haven't
Quick
seen
and
that.
Dead. Said Leonardo DiCaprio and Sharon Stone is in a western.
Oh, that's cool.
Paige Chaudhry, support always. And Derek, I don't remember that movie well enough but I assume he's pretty great in that movie. Thank you, Paige, for the support. Josh Vaskovich watched The Substance yesterday in theater. Gnarly to say the least. Yeah, it's a solid movie. Again, an unpopular opinion. Loved that movie up until the ending. The ending lost me. Otherwise, it would have been in my. It was one of these movies that it's like it had this kind of dark mirror Twilight Zone thing for the whole movie, and then it's just like, let's go super gory and just go completely batshit in the last 10 minutes. I'm like, yeah, come on, you lost me. You loved it though.
I loved it. It's disgusting, but it worked for me. And I would honestly, I was saying I would be really, because John M. Chu and Denis didn't get nominated for Best Director. I feel like Coralie did such an
I think what's his face from
Brutalist.
No, I think Baker's gonna win.
Okay.
From Anora.
I love Sean Baker. I just don't think it was the best director.
Okay.
Because that movie felt so real, and I know, yeah.
Oh, that's another one too. It's a great performance. Nathan Stowe, Crimson Tide is the best submarine movie. It's a great performance by Gene Hackman also. And it's a great boat movie. Kyle Wilson, Helen Mirren shot a scene here in downtown San Antonio for 1923. Loves Sklenar for Batman. Who for Robin if he is the next Dark Knight? Oh man. I don't know. I'd like to see an unknown do that one. I think Batman and Robin should be, because Sklenar for the most part isn't a name yet. He's just not. He's been talked about in the Hollywood circles, but he's not a name mainstream. If you call anybody, like Steph, you told your sister, hey, Brendan Sklenar, would she know who he is? No. But she will. And especially if he's Batman. So I don't know who the Robin would be, but yeah. Have you, Kylie, been watching? Did you watch season 2 in that episode? How great was he in that episode? I'm telling you, Steph, you gotta, if anything, you gotta watch that show.
Okay. You
have to. Nathan Drake, Kristian, you told me in secret that you hope Filoni runs Star Wars for the next 10 years. No. Maybe 7 years ago I said that, and I said I did a complete 180. But there's no world in the last 5 years I said that. Okay, next one, and that would be Armada. Doshi and Jenny new single is great, Steph. Whatever that is.
Oh yeah, it's super fun. I actually think you would really like Dochi. Have you checked out her music yet?
No.
To me, she gives me that Outcast vibe, which I'm sure you loved Outcast.
Yeah, sure. Never mind.
Yeah, just very unique beats and storytelling and poetry. She's so cool. And yeah, I thought this was really awesome that she's now branching off to this massive Jenny mega pop star.
I gotta check it out. You gotta send me a song, because otherwise I'll never.
Okay.
Akarian. I just saw Flow on Max. I thought The Wild Robot was the best animated movie of the year, but Flow is on another level. People are raving about Flow. So as much as I say, oh man, that Flow, I can't believe it's winning everything. Maybe I should check it out. Same thing that
you should. I really liked it. I was actually I went in with a bad attitude because I'm so for The Wild Robot, but I ended up really loving it. The Wild Robot just moved me more.
Yeah. Okay. Dancing Dog 60, agree with Steph. Marvel had to go to streaming mode because people forgot the world had been shut down and theaters were maybe gone forever, right? I mean, yeah, people do forget about that. That was a major thing that would happen. They almost lost their entire relationship with Scarlett Johansson because of it too, because of they handled it like idiots.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of stuff that went down. Boston Lady. Ooh, go Steph. There you go.
Thank you.
Well, Steph, right now, look, this is we've been here before.
Yeah.
We're at the end at the moment. We're at the end. And you're at 65. So you need, little under
Couple
200,
hundred.
a little under 200 in order to catch. I'll do the sign off usually. Every time we talk about this, people will throw. There's another one right now. Zeke, I feel that Ahsoka is better than Mando season 3. I'll probably give you that. I'll give you that. Yeah, I'll give you Ahsoka better than Mando season 3. At least it had some kind of narrative that it knew the story that it wanted to. Just the dialogue wasn't the best, and there were some moments, there were some episodes in Ahsoka that I enjoyed. But as a whole, it's just not written very well. But yeah, I would give you that. It's better than season 3 of Mandalorian. Sure. Dancing Dog 60. It ain't over till it's over.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a tough battle to start.
Yeah. So it was a tough battle. So you got, again, 67. Pretty damn good. It's very, Roxy has just been on another level right now. And she's been, oh, there we go. Never mind. Matt, support to teach Mike a lesson for jumping ship. Let's get there. Then I'll let you go yet. Boston Lady, go Steph.
Thank you.
Almost ending at 69.
Love it.
But it's gone now. 70. Thank you for the show. Much love to the chat from Nerds Engaged. Thank you. Speaking of Nerds Engaged, who has gifted so many memberships, I just mentioned before, we're going to have the membership live stream, which will be as soon as this stream, around 4 o'clock, and it'll probably run to just around 4:30. So join us for that. We do Q&As. I just put a watch along, the full watch along, unedited for Spider-Man. That's up there now too. So there's a lot of stuff there. Okay, let's see. Tatronin 9101. Do you have a favorite dark horse best picture candidate? Not the one you think will win, but you would like to see. Kristian can't say Dune 2. I mean, come on. That's outside of that. Let's see. Best picture nominations. Best picture nominations 2025. Let's see. What is it? Okay. Out of the ones that I'd love to see, Anora, I really liked, and it was my top 10. So if that wins, sure. I don't know if it's what you mean as far as a dark horse. I would say Complete Unknown would probably be the one, because if I can't pick Dune Part 2, yeah, and it's Steph's is Wicked.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So, well, there you go. Yeah, I'd like to see Complete Unknown. Boston Lady, did I get the 69? Nice. There you go.
Nice.
Yeah, there's a good end for you. And then Sean McCabe, you rock, Steph.
Thank you.
They're doing that thing that you do. They're keeping you alive for a little bit longer. But what do you got going on? That you got World Girls today, or was that last night?
That was because I'm taking a voiceover class, so it's now on Wednesday nights. So yeah, we did World Girls on Tuesday.
Oh, okay.
And yeah. So I'm loving it.
Okay, good. The voiceover. Good. And then you go to and Steph Sabra on Instagram and on Twitter. Okay. And then last one here is from Matt. Thoughts on the Lantern's first photo. We're going to cover it more on Capes tomorrow, but from what I saw, it's just two guys standing in the street. But I like both the actors, Aaron Pierre and Kyle Chandler standing together. Mm-hmm. That's our cast, so I'm down. All right, Steph, thank you for being here today. Mike is officially a turncoat.
Yep.
And we will call him out next week when we're on together. So, guys, thank you so much for being on the show today with us. We appreciate it. We'll be back tomorrow with Winston and Coy. Thank you guys so very much. And, well, then let me go, Scott B.
Okay.
Book of Boba Fett Mando Season 3 were pretty disappointing. Is that on Favreau, or was the studio interference to blame? I mean, it's a good point, by the way. He was also, Favreau was on that stuff. So it could be all the above. We don't know. We don't know the answers to it. We don't know really what was asked of him, any of that. So I don't know the answer to that. But Steph, what would you think?
Yeah, I don't know. There's so much when you're in these massive franchises that goes into it. So I'm not sure. It is a good point to consider for sure.
Yeah. And then Armada or Anora is overrated. Stop the cap. Oh man, really? I don't think it's overrated. I liked it a lot. Tatronin 9101. The Poutlaw and Mikey are newlyweds. Congratulations, guys. Congratulations.
You
77, ending strong.
Solid.
All right, everybody. Thank you, Steph. We'll see you. You're off next week.
Yes.
All right. So we'll see you in 2
I
weeks.
have a wedding.
Oh no, they won't. They really won't let you go. They really won't let you go. Dancing Dog 60. Why doesn't Ridley Scott use Sigourney more? I don't know. Got to ask him. No, but
yeah,
maybe
I don't even know how to speculate on that.
know.
Most
Yeah,
directors don't always reuse people. There's
Yeah.
just certain directors that really love that.
That's true. I want to see. I always love watching her pop up. She popped up in that Ridge movie, and it's always
Yeah, so fun.
Did you see her in that movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, the movie was fine.
Yeah, she pops in a lot. I'm like,
Yeah.
yes, Sigourney.
All right, everybody. Thank you once again for Steph and myself. We'll see you guys on the flip side. Bye-bye.